Hello and welcome to World of Art on OGTV. Today we are out of the studio, but in the studio of art. The OGTV crew this week has gone out of the usual to bring you more conversation on the world of art. Like you know, this is where we bring you all the conversations around art by interviewing art practitioners, and together we explore the advantages of visual art in the society. My name is Miriam Usman. This program is brought to you by Prince Yemisi Shillong, legal practitioner, Africa's largest private art collector, grand donor and chairman of council, Yemisi Shillong Museum of Art. Do not forget, it's about to go down like you have never seen on World of Art. I'll be introducing our guests on this conversation today, so stick with us. And we're back. Thank you for staying tuned. You're watching World of Art on OGTV. Like I said before, today is directly from the horse's mouth. I'm talking about the studio, an art studio. But joining me in the conversation, or I am joining an artist in his studio. Hello, Mr. Tomi Ogunbona. Good to be here. I'm excited, actually.
It's good to welcome you into my studio. I've been in your studio before, but now
I am your guest today.
I'm enjoying the fact that you have to come down here and see where the whole thing is happening.
Yes. You know, unlike every other profession, you know, there's a lot of rough work you do, from the painting to the canvas. I mean, I'm going to let you do the conversation, but I know that you're going to walk us through all the time you spend in the studio before bringing the final piece, which everybody sees and, you know, they all marvel at. But behind that piece, you know, I know it takes you a lot and all that. I want you to walk us through all.
You know, creating artwork is start from believing in yourself that yes, you can do it. You know, most of the time when I pick up my empty canvas and or empty paper and I want to start work, I always have this fear that can I do it? And as a teacher,
as a professional, you have that fear.
Yes.
Wow.
Even as a teacher, whenever I see my students who in front of the canvas, I know they are having the same fear too, that can they do it? But as a teacher, this is one thing I do. I just pick up my pencil and scratch their paper and it's already stained. Now start. And that's how it is even in achieving things in life. We always have this fear that I cannot do it. But the moment we scratch the surface of the paper or the canvas, everything starts, the fear fly away and we start working. And one thing in art is that you have this end product and you believe that this end product you achieve this end product even when you are making a lot of mistakes in building to this end product. But the fact that you believe that you will get there and you will achieve it. And most of the time, reason why even when I watch a documentary about Da Vinci, most artists don't want to work outside. Don't want the people, the client, to see the building process of the work.
It's
because
not always interesting.
It's always very dirty, it's always rough. You will believe that this cannot be the work that you have paid for. But wait, let the artist finish the work.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. That is one thing about art. You have to trust the process.
You have to trust the process when it comes to art. I think we're getting that as a basis for the conversation. Yes. Let's go on this break. So now that you have established that even as an artist, all you do, especially when you start or have this vision in your head, is to trust the process. And I think everyone should also, you know, I mean, everyone do believe the process. They trust the process. That's why they leave most of the work for you to do. Just bring me the magic, you know?
That reminds me of a famous quote. I think it was Bachelor. So I might tell you. I say everybody have a plan till you get the first punch. It's always happen like that. Sometimes you believe that I've seen it, I've set it. It has to go like this. But something may happen that it will destroy all your plan, and that's where changing your improvising comes in.
Yeah.
Before, when they taught us improvisation in school, I thought they are wasting our time. But imagine you are going for a painting and you need a palette knife, and you discover that you didn't pack your palette knife. I think it has happened several times when I went for sip and paint program. I discovered that I didn't come with a palette knife. You pick a spoon. You always have a plan, but you always have a process, but you get punched in the face, and you have to use improvisation to save yourself. And as an artist, this is what we call experience. Someone will say that you have no experience, and you said you have not done anything. I said you have experience. Who is your teacher?
Okay, let's take it off from there. I mean, you've mentioned improvising,
Yes.
and I need to give it up to artists. You improvise a lot. Improvising also comes in the way you express yourself.
Yes.
But let's talk about the part where you say you make a lot of mistakes. How do you do it? You know, we just see a perfect work, and sometimes, most of the time, we're not able to point out from a particular work that there's a mistake here. So, for instance, you are working on a canvas, and you know you made a mistake. What do? Get another canvas, erase it. You know, how do you do it?
Answering this question would have been very easy if I can just go and bring my works when I was in school till now. You see a lot of works that I won't be proud to say that this is my work, but I can still keep it because that's the process. Now we have a perfect work. Now we know how to cover up our mistakes. We didn't get there in a day. We got there through years of practicing. Like now I've been painting since 2009. Years of practicing, years of error, years of learning how to cover mistakes, years of perfecting my color mixture, years of practicing and practicing and practicing. Now you can say that, okay, he knows how to do impasto, he knows how to do this. But we've learned how to cover up a mistake with years of practice. That's why I said you have never tried anything new. You said you have experience. Who is the teacher?
Okay, I mean, that's pretty amazing. Okay, let's look at your medium of expression. I mean, I know a lot of visual artists have different means of expression. Some people use flip-flops, some people use paint, some people use charcoal, you know, different and it's just amazing how you people come up with these things. But let's talk about your medium of expression, and why do you choose that?
I have several medium of expression, and most of these came out because of some circumstances. Like now, I draw a lot, and the reason why I perfect my drawing because I'm a teacher, as I need to teach my students how to draw. Before we switch to painting, I need to show them how to draw. That's why I've learned over the years to perfect my drawing, and that's one of my major area. And also I use acrylic. The reason why I use acrylic these days is because I don't really have much time to practice against. I need something that can dry faster, and I need to work fast because I don't really have much time. I spend more time in school, and I need to also practice as an artist. So acrylic dry faster. But I learned initially with oil color, and I think most of my best works are still in oil color because oil color gives you chance to make mistake and lay your works. You use days and days to lay your work. If you see some of my works here now, this is oil colored. I used impasto for this, but this one is acrylic because I got this idea and I need to quickly do it so that this idea won't fly away. And if I go into another work, I may not remember. So I have to pick one of my, because I have canvases that I have primed. I just pick it up, quickly do my work, and that's it.
Does a particular image determine what medium of expression you use, or you, the artist, just, you know, envision this and say, okay, I would like to use this?
Most of the time, what determines the medium I use is the time available to do the work. Like now, I remember when they gave me a job to create a portrait of former governor Ibikule Amosun, and the people need to deliver on time, and I have less than 1 or 2 days. With that one, I can't do it with oil color. I have to go acrylic.
To take time to dry.
Yes, I have to go with acrylic, and within some hours, I have to finish the work and deliver. Imagine doing oil color because I'm very good in oil color and I have to, I can't deliver that kind of,
just based
based on oil color, I can't deliver that kind of work. So that's it. Circumstances determine the medium for me.
Interesting. Now you've mentioned that you do drawing, you do oil painting, you do acrylic, you like master of all in the painting and drawing. There's more, right? Now I want you to explain to us the processes there could be to starting, let's say, a paint, for instance, or you could decide to take us through drawing, the processes that is involved from start to finish of a work.
Okay, can I use this one to show you?
Please.
So in drawing, what you need to do is that you need to know your paper is like a stage. It's like you want to act film. You need to plan it. Okay, like now I want to achieve your bust. Where would I put the head? Where will I put the head? Where will I put the shoulder? Will I put this? Plan it for the mistakes students make most of the time, or artists that are still learning, is that they don't plan before starting. I used to make that mistake too, but with experience, discover that if you want to start working, you plan. And most of the time, artists, young artists, they draw with thick line. They start drawing with thick line. That's another error. I used to have this code. Most of my students know this code for me. Your first line is not your last line. Your first line is not your last line. So when you are making your first touch, your last touch, they are not your last touch. So make it light. Because you have to make mistake. There is no one is perfect.
Yeah.
So you have to make room for the mistake so that you can easily clean your mistake and adjust it and keep moving. So that's it. You plan and you remember, I will make mistake and my first line is not my last line. So that's out. And with that one, we keep building and building, light, medium, then deep, then perfection. And at the end of the day, you see, everybody say, wow.
That is a whole lot of calculation. I mean, you have to do some mathematics, length, breadth.
Talking about mathematics, mathematics used to be subject I don't like in secondary school.
Wow.
But when I got to art, I discovered that you have to learn mathematics. You have to calculate because your work has to be balanced. It must be balanced. If it's not balanced, your work can never be beautiful. So you calculate. And at the stage, someone taught me grid lines. Though I don't usually use it when I draw, but with grid lines too, you have to know. You have to, like now, you want to expand. Like you see your drawing now, create a grid of it. It's big like this, and I have to make it small here. You have to do calculation. Ratio 5 to ratio 1. How do I bring it down? So mathematics is even more in art. If we bring calculus or things, I can't do it. But if we go to art, I am very good with my mathematics, and that's what brings the beauty. Beauty is mathematics is part of the elements of beauty in art. So that's it.
I know as well in drawing now. Let's not do painting. Drawing. You mentioned line. You mentioned curves and all of that. You play around shapes. In fact, I know artists that, their medium of expression is cubism.
Yes.
They use cubes to make a whole lot of amazing things, and it's so beautiful. So we're talking about the processes. At what point do you, know that this is where I need to make my work darker, I need to make it faint a bit, and I know you make use of a lot of pencils. Now look at the pencil you have here. One is, the lead here is, I don't know, it's, when they say the pen is mightier than the sword, I think they're referring to this. You have varieties of pen, as big as small as this one. There are other pencils that are smaller in this. And when you work, you make use of all of these things. How do you know when to use them?
Experience. You learn with experience. That's why every artist has their own style. While working, we develop our experience. And one thing, every artist starts with these elements of art. The elements of art are the lines, color, texture, shade. And to bring in art, we are meant to bring the 3-dimension to 2-dimension. And how do we bring the 3-dimension to 2-dimension? We need to understand the perspective, the light. I need to mimic, without light, when I'm teaching my student, the first thing you need to understand is source of light. Where is the light coming from? The source of light will now determine, okay, this is the light tone, this is the middle tone, this is dark tone, this is highlight, this is the reflected light. All these things are the things we bring together on the paper to bring the image.
Brain work.
Brain work when you are learning, but normal when you are now a master.
Okay. We're live in your studio, and it can only get more interesting when we see you do some practicals. I mean, it's the practical that makes a lot of people believe that, okay, this is not swan abracadabra. There's a process which you mentioned earlier that we must trust. So can you give us some practical form of what you do here to make this artwork, you know, come into form? Yes. And I want you to practicalize it.
Should I bring this down? Yeah. So in art, especially these days, in the days of AI taking our jobs, we need to understand something about the Maslow theory needs, that AI cannot take your job. You as someone, you need to strategize. Before seeing the work, wow, this thing is good, that's what we look at. But these days, I think this is what people need to switch to now. We have made a lot of money. AI is powered by someone that has money. The person has reached the hierarchy of need, the highest. The person needs to spend the money. Who would they spend it on? They can just come to my studio and see me work. AI cannot do that. So in drawing now, like I said before, you need to plan your work. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm planning where the head will be, where the shoulder will be, where the...
What are you drawing?
Like, I'm drawing you.
Oh, wow.
So this is part of the process of teaching students how to draw and how to do things, because as an artist, if you cannot sit in front of your model and draw them, you are the kind of artist that AI may take your job. But if you can learn this, let someone sit in front of you and draw the person. It reminds me of Uju, one lady when I was 7. It's her birthday and I don't have anything to give to her. And I said, okay, Uju, sit down, let me draw you. And by the time I'm done with the drawing, she started crying. I said, why are you crying, Uju? She said she has never seen something like this before. That's why I know the magic I have as an artist. Ability to make someone feel emotional. And that's one of the things about art. You have magic, just use it. And that's it. So what I'm doing now is just doing what I used to tell my students. My first stroke is not my last stroke. Trying to identify where your faces are, where the lights are, where the darks are. And that's part of it. So I think this may take time, but showing you the process.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a whole lot in this particular conversation. You mentioned AI not replacing anybody's work, and the kind of people that are most likely to lose their job to AI. And then you also made mention of that particular friend you had to do your artwork for. And I think it's a very beautiful thing that AI may never get, the emotions.
Yes, AI coupled with robotics can, sit down, pick up pencil. I know I said that it's all about calculation, identifying light, identifying dark. AI may do that with a lot of trainings, but still, sitting in front of someone and the person drawing you, and at the end of the day, you look at it and say, this is me. It's still one thing that humans will still be able to pay for. Look at sip and paint we do these days. Will someone just dip their hand into their pocket and pay for that kind of thing about 10, 20 years ago? But now, humans are making money. Humans are making money, and we need to spend this money. Where will they spend this money? AI, someone owns AI, someone is programming it, someone is making money from it. The person will spend the money. Where will they spend it? They will come to you.
All right, let's come back to you.
Okay.
When you draw, when you paint, what do you want people to see you for or see your work for? What's the message you most times, like to pass across with your work?
My message, most of the time, I have different message, depends on the situation. Sometimes I just want to sweep someone off their feet. You know, it's part of it. Like, okay, sit down, let me draw you. By the time, wow, this is me. That's part of the feeling that we sell. Sometimes I just want to pass a message, like that one, the mother and the child. Just want to show the beauty of mother and child, and also want to pass a message that anything can be my canvas. You know, I painted that one on basket.
Yeah.
Anything can be my. It depends on situation. That is all that we hear. Like this one, this one. Someone is saying that Europeans have a style. I say, okay, I can paint like European too.
Yes, that looks a lot like European, like those old Da Vinci
Yes.
kind of work.
I said we can do that too, and I picked it within about 2-3 hours. I achieved it that day with acrylic, of course. So things like that. This one too, it was a demonstration with my students. I used it to show them how to achieve landscape, the background, foreground, and middle ground, and how to place the work into the frame. The situation determines why I'm doing what I'm doing and
What you want
what I want people to get.
Well, you're still watching World of Art, and this is just interesting. I know you are enjoying every bit of it. Don't forget, if you have any question, you can always send this message on the number displayed on the screen. You're part of the conversation, and we want to hear from you. So we go on this break, and when we return, wrap up on the program today. You're still watching World of Art, but this time we have to run along. It's time up on the program today, and don't forget, today we've had a very great conversation with an artist in Abeokuta here known as Tomi Ogumbono, one of the greatest artists I know in Abeokuta. And yes, he's done a very quick work of me. Look at that. I think this work is really incredible. I mean, you did this in between just a few minutes we were talking, and this is the abracadabra you do that I will never understand. But again, thank you so much for having us. And you know, when we started the program today, all artists started this sketch of me, and this is the final work. On the few minutes, Mr. Tomi Ogumbono was able to sketch this. Now, these are the magics. The magic artists do that I will never understand. But of course, it's not in my place to understand this. I want to say thank you so much for having us. And this is mind-blowing. Just the way we like it. Practical form. And you've done justice to it. The program is World of Art. We bring you everything you need to know about visual art. Until next week, keep watching World of Art.